health and a little wealth and a lot of love.
When you're trying to adjust your lifestyle and you're trying to eat healthier, it's just not palatable. People
Right.
this tastes gross. Like
Right.
they don't want to stick with that program,
Right.
that plan. And yes, there are side effects that come along with these medications, but when you compare these medications to things like phentermine or, heaven forbid, things like fen-phen that have been taken off the market that were causing a lot of cardiovascular issues, I think it's something that we should have in our arsenal, because there are people who might not have access like we do. A lot of people, and I keep going back to this, but like the 1,000-Pound Sisters, where Tammy's husband is stuck in this LTAC, or this place where he has too much weight on his body to be able to open his lungs and breathe on his own.
Right.
And so he has a trach that basically gives him the oxygen and the pressure and the air that he needs to breathe. And he's so addicted to food that he could not fight that addiction to the point where he could make himself better, to the point where he could get bariatric surgery and have the results that she had.
Right.
And so he died because he died from his illness.
That's right.
And if you have a medication that can help people lose weight
Right.
to get to the point where they're able to have bariatric surgery, I think it's a powerful tool. And I don't agree with the demonizing. I'm a huge proponent of functional medicine and alternative medicine, but demonizing people for trying to use some of these new medications that we have to lose weight and to better themselves, I think is just horrible.
Right. Well, speaking of demonize, I did talk to someone. If you're listening, you know exactly who you are. Where this person told me that their father struggled with weight, and she said that the doctors just gave up on him, and on when he passed away, and R.I.P. It's a horrible thing to lose a parent. In fact, that hits very close to home, because one of my really good friends just lost a parent recently, actually this week, and it's just been awful watching him go through that. And they said to me that, the doctors gave up on him. The doctor gave up on him. I'll be honest, he did give up on his weight, but they just didn't try to help him. And, they kind of just throw their arms up. And, I think we're blessed because you're not like that. But what advice would you give to people who have that mentality? Like, I want to give up, or my family member is giving up. Like, what would you say? It's obviously not all the doctor, but it's not all the patient. There has to be a happy middle.
I think it's important to have, that's such a hard question, because I think a lot of traditional healthcare providers are so overwhelmed because that's our the biggest problem that we have. We know that obesity is an ongoing issue, and it's only getting worse. And so the majority of the patients that come into the office not only have issues with obesity, but they also have the downstream effects of metabolic syndrome. So they're starting to get diabetes and hypercholesterolemia. So their blood cholesterol is high, and it's causing heart disease and kidney disease. And I think you're trying to kind of play whack-a-mole and put out those fires, when you really wish that you could get to the root of the problem and have time to talk to those patients and not only give them...
So you agree with her that sometimes a doctor will see someone who's morbidly obese and just like, okay, you're just overweight, whatever.
I don't think it's that they just write it off, but I think sometimes too, if those people that come in, that you check their vital signs and you check their blood tests, and you see their blood sugars are through the roof, their blood pressure is through the roof, their cholesterol is through the roof. You're trying to lower those things to increase their lifespan.
Right.
And sometimes to make them feel better too, because people, if your blood pressure is really high, sometimes you don't have symptoms, but sometimes you do have things like chronic headaches, or when your blood pressure is really high, it's killing your kidneys. And so you're trying to put out those fires and protect those organs, but you really wish you had the time to talk with them and tell them, this is what you need to do. These are
Right.
the foods you need to eat. This is how
Right.
you find affordable foods that are going to help to reverse this
Right.
problem, which honestly,
Speaking of the affordable foods, is this something that you know well about?
yeah, and I mean, I think my big passion is the gut microbiome
And
and
don't
talking.
you have
And
something?
I do have a free handout that
Free, guys, free.
gives you some information on how to reset your gut. But sometimes I think that's great. It's a great place to start. But
It
if you
is.
have
It's a natural though. It's like not. Yes, this episode's on the Ozempic, but go to suitsandscrubspodcast.com. We have free resources. This is the gut harmony that Emily's talking about. This will ultimately eliminate processed foods, things of that nature, to help you have a better chance of fighting those cravings naturally.
With a little health and a little wealth and a lot of love. That's the life that we live. Suits and scrubs.